I need to prepare for marriage, like marriage preparation. And the book of Esther is coming up for me again. And that was kind of like where I was trying to go with it until I felt like God was telling me, no, like this story, look at her obedience. And so Esther was like an orphan Jewish girl, and she was raised by her uncle Mordecai, who worked for the king. And she was chosen amongst a larger group of women, of young like virgins, to be the king's new wife, because his last wife did something that the king couldn't look past. So he had to so he got rid of her, and then he wanted a new wife. And so she had to go through this like year of like self-care processes before she could even be in the king's presence. Like, they were so strict. But I know there's a particular verse where it says that Esther obeyed Mordecai, just as she'd always done her entire childhood. And so, like, the reason why I personally feel like this is my Esther year is because I know God is preparing me. But I feel like what God's been specifically saying is there are people waiting for you on the other side of your obedience to me. Just like it was for Esther. Like, sure, you could look at that book and think, you know, it's to me, it's not a romance. But I guess some people hit it like, oh, you know, she got married, she's finally a wife, she's a queen. But I think what God's highlighting to me so much is, look how obedient she was. There was a call on her life, there was a purpose, and there was assignment, and she listened. And there was a time where it was hard for her, because essentially Mordecai asked her to do something which could have essentially got her killed, and she did not want to do it at first. And he said, you know what though, God will make sure we're okay, but you don't want to be the person that's disobedient to what God might be trying to do in your life. And she got herself together real quick, and she said, okay, y'all fast for me though, fast for 3 days, and my servants will fast, and then I will do what you're calling me to do. So she was obedient, and she ultimately ended up saving her people. And I just felt like, I don't know, like, I just felt like God was just like emphasizing to me that obedience that he's calling you to have is not just about you. And it's not just about the things that you want or you desire. That there are people, places, things waiting for you on the other side of your obedience to God. So this year I decided I was going to be very obedient to God. And of course you can't obey someone you don't listen to, someone you don't talk to. So that has called me to be a lot more intimate with God as well, in prayer and just meditating on his word, etc. But the obedience that I feel like I've tried to chase after when it comes to God has already led to things that I would not have imagined. I was just talking to a friend today, and I was telling her, you have no idea what you're going to experience or what's going to be on the other side of your obedience to God. And it's not because we just want these things so badly, because at the same time we can't be distracted from who brought the things towards us. We can't lose our intimacy with God over the vanity of the things that might come. But it's very exciting, and it definitely gives you a lot of motivation for your life, and a lot of passion, a lot of zeal, when you realize that God has good plans for you, but what's getting in the way is not anyone else, but it's your obedience.